Hello, welcome to Road Matters, the program that promotes safer roads and responsible road use. Road crashes happen every day, but what happens after an accident? What are the responsibilities of drivers, passengers, emergency responders, and insurance companies? Today, we follow the journey, the moment an accident happens, to investigation and possible compensation. My name is Sufyan Muhammad. So what exactly should be done few minutes after the accident? Before then, we have a short report put together for you.
Overspeeding is one of the causes of untimely death among road users. This could be attributed to over-anxiety of motorists to reach their destination quickly.
From the highways to the city roads, overspeeding has become a silent killer leading to death of thousands. It is a situation where the drivers exceed the minimum speed limit without considering the consequences. Each vehicle has the number of kilometers to cover per hour, and this is stipulated in road safety manual.
Overspeeding, we call it excessive speed or speeding. Say you are supposed to go at 50 kilometers per hour in a built-up area, a marketplace, a congested place, or a school area. If you go beyond that, there are consequences. You see, speed, as I said, has to be controlled. And if it's not controlled, it becomes a problem. It becomes a problem in the sense that in case of emergencies, to be able to maneuver, take adequate control of that vehicle becomes dangerous. And that is more reason why it is not allowable to go beyond the specified agreeable speed limit by the law.
People who are driving on the highway probably take off late for where they are going, and as such are in a hurry to get to their destination, especially if it is time bound. It means people should take off from where they are going without just assuming that they can get to their destination, which is time bound, freely, because you cannot predict what will be on the road by way of traffic jam and all the rest.
In light of the above, the effects of overspeeding in the society are not far-fetched.
The casualties is always very high in case of crash. Then the wear and tear on the engine has its own economic implication. The higher you go, the faster you go, the more you burn fuel, the more the wear and tear on the. But some of us don't know it. You understand? Some of us don't know it. You are putting the functions of the engine at their peak when you speed, when you go at a higher speed. So it has an effect on the engine. It has negative effect on control and balance. It has consequences, you understand. If there are crashes as a result of overspeeding, the fatality is always very high.
This worrisome act could be curtailed if all hands are on deck.
When we want to discuss the issue of overspeeding, we can not look away from the fact that there are prerequisite information and expectations of people who want to drive on our highways. Basic part of which is ownership of a driver's license. When you own a driver's license, you must have gone through stages of understanding the rules that guide driving. Some roads you are not supposed to exceed 20 kilometers per hour. Maybe they have a lot of schools around the place. But some people who do not go through that process of getting a license might not even know the road sign that tells you what speed limit to go on the highway. So overspeeding could be as a result of going at 50 kilometers per hour where you are supposed to go at 20. So basically, that prevention will come first from ensuring that everybody that drives on the highway have what it requires for them to be driving on the highway.
We punish people that go against the specified speed limit. That is on the issue of the law. But practically, I think about some years back, you see, if a vehicle is overspeeding, to arrest such a vehicle is very difficult. It could even endanger more lives. Do you understand it now? Now the court came up with an idea. We call it speed limiting device, which has to be installed in vehicles that will not allow a driver to go beyond a particular speed.
Adhering strictly to traffic rules will go a long way to reduce road crashes.
Finding a lasting solution to this should not be the responsibility of road safety officers alone, but all and sundry.
So what exactly should be done few minutes after an accident? Let's hear from our guest.
Immediately when accident happens, the driver needs not to panic if peradventure the driver is not injured. He needs to assess the situation, and immediately, if there are bystanders, he will activate the bystander to assist the driver to ensure that those that are injured are evacuated to a safer site. If virtually they have the contact of the emergency number, which is 112 in Nigeria, they can activate the emergency number and inform them the situation, what happens, so that the ambulance can be deployed. In any emergency situations, whether it is accident, whether it is incidences, emergencies can be activated provided life is threatening. It could be accident, it could be home incidents, it could be office incidents, it could be anything provided life is threatening, life require need help, then an emergency services is activated. Most of the common mistake people make here in Nigeria is that once there are accidents, you find out that people are using their phones, taking photographs. I think we need to do away with this habit. Once accident happens, people need to be attended so that we can save life. So the culture of taking photograph, sending it, I think that need to be discouraged. We need just to ensure that we assist the people, clear them to a safer site. If you know how to render first aid services, then you can do that. If you don't know how to render first aid services, then you can activate the emergency number. I don't think accident vehicles need to be moved immediately, because at least we are more concerned about the lives. We're not concerned about the vehicles, but we are concerned about the lives of the people inside the vehicle. They are the ones that we must give priority to ensure that their life is being saved. Vehicle can be attended anytime. Even when you are talking about insurance, that one, those people that are responsible can handle that one after, but not immediately when accident happens. Vehicles are put, attention is more drawn to the vehicles. Attention should be centered on the people that are inside the vehicle, and to ensure that their lives is being attended. And for sure, bystander can be of importance to ensure that they assist in clearing those victims to a safer site. Two, they can assist in also rendering the first aid intervention. Some of them have the knowledge of first aid. Bystander can also assist in ensuring that the properties of those victims are safe, because you find out that by the time people are not educated, you find out that some of the bystanders are there, some of them have some dubious attitudes. So you have to ensure that the life of the people, the property of the people are really attended to and are saved. Difficulty in breathing can attribute it to so many conditions. A bystander has to assess the situation. If the casualty is talking, then he can ask him, what is the problem? Some of them know their problem. So it could be asthma that trigger this difficulty of breathing. It could be accident where maybe the ribs is injured. Based on the conversation you had with the casualty, then you'll be able to know which assistance are you going to give him. If it is because of injury, then you have to ensure that you attend to the injury and immediately transfer that casualty to the nearby facility. If it is because of a medical condition, just like I mentioned, asthma, then you ask him quickly whether he has an inhaler closer to him. Then you can reach out to the inhaler and ensure that you administer the inhaler so that that breathing difficulty can be arrested. Mostly, road traffic accidents, most of the common injuries are either fracture or bleeding. Those are the most common ones. So bystanders have to ensure that they stop the bleeding before moving this casualty to a nearby facility, or they should ensure that they immobilize the fractured area so that not to cause more harm to the casualty. Because by the time you move a casualty with bleeding before you move him to the nearby facility, you could bleed to death. And casualty that after accident there are no injuries, please advise them to seek medical help, at least to visit a hospital at that particular moment so that they can assess them to ensure that there are no any internal injury. Discharging them to go home is very dangerous because anything can happen after. Always educate them to visit a hospital for further assessment to ensure that there are no internal injuries. In case of fracture, the most important thing is to immobilize the fracture site. Immobilization of the fracture site, let me just give you an example. Like this is a hand. This hand is fractured. You have to look for a splint. Look for just a wood. You put the wood here and look for a rope. Assuming it's in the bush, you cannot have any bandage, but you can stick are available in the bush. You can just cut a stick, put it on the fractured limb, look for a rope, and tie them so that that fractured site would not be moving. This is the way you can immobilize the fractured limb. If it is a bleeding, you just have to stop the bleeding by applying a bandage. If it is not at the scene, you apply a bandage and you tie it to stop the bleeding. But if it is in the bush, you can equally just look for a leaf. Leaves, we have abundance of leaves in our bush. Carry a leaf, put it on the bleeding side, look for a rope, tie it, and ensure that the site the bleeding has been arrested before you start moving the casualty to the nearby facility. Medical access is very important, particularly in accidents, because sometimes it is very difficult for people to know that this person is having an internal injury. Just for mere seeing, you cannot rule out that this person is okay. So it's important for further assessment just to ensure that the casualty is free from any injury. That's why it's important for accidents to be referred to the hospital for further assessment. Very important. What they should avoid is that dragging casualties. If accidents happens, ensure that bystanders have to manage these casualties carefully, because you find out that there are some accidents that happens that casualty may have a mild spinal injury. So if they did not manage him carefully, they may end up having a bigger spinal injury, which can cause more harm to the casualty. So bystanders are always educated to ensure that if accident happens, they should calm down and ensure that they move this casualty, whether from inside the vehicle, outside, or either from outside to a safer site. Moving the casualty has to be in a minimal way so that we will not cause more harm to the casualties. Always very important to ensure that casualties that are injured are managed properly, are managed carefully to avoid causing more harm to the injuries. First aid say, do not do harm. Don't do harm to the casualty. So we have to ensure that we manage our casualties carefully, professionally, so that they will not have more harm. Some people will have mild internal bleeding. At the course of vigorous activities, he may be thinking he's okay. When they got the accident and the process of him involving himself in assisting those people that are injured while he has mild internal bleeding, on that course of vigorous activities, it increases the bleeding tendency. So you find out that the bleeding tendency will increase and he will be bleeding internally. He won't know, only that his condition will be coming down gradually, out to the situation where it knocked him down. So always those people that are involved in an accident, they shouldn't participate in the rescue mission, whether they're injured or not injured, so that they will rule out any situation where they have internal injury, because internal injuries are something you cannot see. It is happening inside. So you will never see until when proper assessment is done. Very important, first aid kit. Drivers may be thinking that because they are the one driving, they are not prone to injuries, but provided the vehicle is moving, everyone is prone to injury, whether the driver, whether the passengers. So it's important for every driver to have a mini first aid kit, which contain all the gauze inside, the bandages, and other contents that are important, plasters, hand gloves, some solutions are very important inside the first aid kit. Those are the items you may use in stopping the bleeding. Those are the items you may use in immobilizing the fracture. Those are the items you may use in closing an open wound. So it's important for all the drivers. For us, we're advocating a driver, a vehicle, not only for passengers. Every vehicle must have a small mini first aid kit with the content I mentioned inside, so that if anything happens, at least everyone can lay hand on those items and use it to save life. The first advice is that everyone should seek first aid knowledge. One, when you look at our population, over 200 million, I must tell you that less than 10% don't know how to give first aid. So it's important for all, not only drivers, everyone first aid knowledge is important for you to assess the first aid knowledge. Secondly, to have the kits, not only inside the vehicle, even at homes. Anything can happen, and peradventure you don't have anything to lay hand on it to render first aid services. It has become a challenge to you. You have the knowledge, but you are handicapped because you don't have the items. So it's important, one, everyone to have the knowledge of first aid. Second, to have the first aid kit. You have the knowledge and you have the kits. If anything happens, you can lay your hand, render the first aid services before you move the casualty for further assessment to the nearby facility.
Determining who is at fault after an accident can sometimes be complicated. Let's hear from our insurance experts.
Where a passenger dies, that the family members of the deceased passenger is compensated. If your car is stolen, the insurance will pay. If your car is engulfed by fire, it's covered. And then if your own car is damaged, you can see the difference. The comprehensive insurance cover will take care of the damage to your car. So it's a wider coverage. And so it puts you at ease that you don't have to bother yourself repairing the other person's car and then sourcing for funds to repair your own car. So the other person's car is taken care of. Your car is taken care of. The injury sustained is taken care of. And the debt is taken care of. So it gives you a wider coverage. But remember, because it's a wider coverage, you pay more. But the amount you pay is not neck-breaking. Insurance is a welfare scheme where we collect small money so that you enjoy a lot of benefits. So those are the three kinds of policies and what they offer.
A road accident may last a few seconds, but its effects can last for a lifetime. Drive safe, stay safe. Thank you for watching Road Matters. My name is Sufyan Muhammad. See you next week. Bye for now.